Hey everybody, this is Jess.
It's Brad.
We are doing our Bullet Points podcast on a frequently asked question that we get, NFA. What is NFA? You know, what is anything to do with NFA? So we're going to kind of go over that for you today. So Brad.
So Jay, what is the NFA?
Thanks for asking me that.
Yeah, no worries.
NFA is a National Firearms Act. It came about June 26, 1934. This act controls and governs manufacture, transportation, tax, and registration of certain items.
Certain items as in like machine guns, possibly?
Machine guns, yes. So machine gun or fully automatic weapon. These are legal for civilian purchase if they were manufactured pre-May of 1986 and registered as transferable. They still make them today, all the way to, they manufactured them, I guarantee, this afternoon. But those are for military and law enforcement only. For civilian purchase, which you would be able to come here to Razorback Armory and buy, has to be manufactured pre-May of 1986. And there are a lot of them out there. They're also very expensive. So if you want to get into the machine gun game, definitely come in, have a conversation, and we'll get you set up.
So another category within the NFA would be SBR. We do a lot of those.
A lot of them. So SBR, short barreled rifle. So rifles with barrels less than 16 inches. Standard stocks, vertical grips, everything are allowed on these items, okay? So it's not like a pistol where you can't have a vertical grip or you have to have a brace. These are technically rifles, even though they're short like your pistol. With your SBR, you will have to register it. So if you buy a new one, it's on a Form 4. If you manufacture your own, which we can get into a little bit later, it's on a Form 1. But that would be an SBR, short-barreled rifle.
And then its sister or cousin would be the SBS.
It's kind of out there cousin.
Yeah.
Yeah, SBS is short-barreled shotguns. All right, these are a little bit different. Shotguns with barrels less than 18 inches. All right, this category has gotten a lot more confusing lately because there are items such as the Remington TAC 14 or TAC 13 and the Mossberg Shockwave. These are by definition other weapons. They don't fall in the SBS category. Really, they have certain attributes that keep them out and they put them in an other weapons category. But if you truly want a short-barreled shotgun, okay, shotgun less than 18 inches with a stock, pistol grip, any other attributes that you would like, that's where this category would fall under, and yes, you can own them.
And then we have the odd duck of the bunch. It covers a lot of things, the any other weapon.
Yes.
Or
the redheaded stepchild of the NFA world is an AOW. AOW is a fun catch-all category, which odd or uneasily classified items. So this is where they put stuff that really didn't fall into other categories, but they wanted to regulate them. Some people have seen these little bitty short pistol shotguns. They were manufactured with a virgin receiver to be these little bitty 3-shot pump shotguns, and those are AOWs. You can also see some weird pen guns. You can see some really vintage stuff with a 410 smooth barrel pistol, which is an AOW. But these are much less frequently seen or purchased. The stamp on this is only actually $5 instead of your standard $200.
And then last but not least, we have the things that go boom,
the big
like real go boom.
Yeah, so destructive devices. These are grenades, bombs, rifles with a bore over 50 caliber. They get labeled as a destructive device. This is definitely check your area. Most of everything else that I talk to you about, you can own. There's a platform, easy way to do it. In Missouri, destructive devices are a little bit weirder category, probably also wherever you're viewing this. Go talk to your NFA guy and see if you really want to get into registering one item that you're going to blow up and see how much it costs to do that. And then our bread and butter.
Suppressors.
That's right.
Or silencers.
That's right. So suppressor, or by its legal term silencer, both are industry acceptable. Any portable device designed to muffle or disguise the report of a portable firearm. So as you noted or seen in the movies or anything, they thread onto the end of your barrel. So basically they're going to suppress or silence the sound coming out of the end of the gun. Is it going to make it movie quiet? No. You're going to be really upset if you think it's all John Wick all the time. But they do serve a purpose. You can definitely go shooting and enjoy the sport more because you're not getting that concussion, you're not getting that muzzle blast. But to purchase them, very simple process. You'll come into a shop like this, we'll walk you through everything and get you on the right track, okay? And that's kind of segue into our next thing, is how to buy a suppressor.
So we have all these things we just talked about, and I walk in and I say, I want to buy a machine gun and I want to buy a suppressor for it. How do I go about doing that?
Well, first, I'm gonna need to see that wheelbarrow full of cash you got.
Right.
But, so to do that, so when you walk in and say, hey, I'm looking at these items, this is what I'd like to purchase. So we'll take you down that, we'll take you down that road of, hey, machine gun. Yes, we'll find out what you're looking for, see if it's available, get you that. When I say get that for you, we're talking about purchasing items that could be $10, $20, $30, $40, $50,000, okay? But now the more user-friendly, affordable, kind of the every man's thing is the suppressor angle on that. Suppressors range from a couple $100s to some of them are in the several $1,000 range, but that sweet spot is usually between three and $5, for a lot of entry level stuff, and even you'll get up to about $1,000. The main thing to know is what you want to suppress, okay? So just coming in and say, I want to buy a suppressor is great, but we need to know what you want to put it on, okay? So what your host weapon is. Then we can take you into, hey, this suppressor is going to do this for you. This, it's going to work on that gun. Maybe it'll work on 2 guns if we talk to you about a couple different things. But once we've had that conversation and we know what you want to suppress, all right, and then we can pick out a suppressor for you, what happens next?
Well, I mean, I don't know, man. I'm
You're
new at
buying
this
it.
guy. I'm new at this game, man.
All right. So here at Razorback Armory and a lot of other places throughout the United States, we have what's called the Concierge System. We're going to set up an account for you, okay? This is going to get all of your documentation in the right order, dots crossed, T's crossed, dots, I's, everything done so that the federal government will get their forms properly filled out with the right information and that you're going to get it. So when you submit a form to the federal government, they're going to need what's called a Form 4. They're going to need an LE notifier, so they're going to notify law enforcement wherever you live that your intent to purchase this. It used to be that law enforcement got signature privilege over your purchases. Now we notify them that your intent to purchase this, and then we go from there because they have to then call ATF and say they don't want you to purchase it. So once we have the Form 4 done, there's also fingerprints. We do digital fingerprinting in-house. We also do photographs. You're going to need a photograph done. We do digital photographs in-house. So we'll stack all that data for it and get it all on your file for you, all right? So you've done that, okay? We've walked you through that process. What else is there? Well, digital processing. So there's a $25 fee, if you will. Most places, some people charge a little bit more for digital processing. That's your Form 4s, your LE notifiers, you're taking your pictures and doing all that. Basically getting all of your data in the right spot. You owe a tax stamp, okay? Did you buy a Class 3 license?
I didn't know I had.
There is no such thing.
I didn't think so.
So a lot of people will say, did you buy a Class 3 license or do you have a Class 3 license? Okay, there's no such thing as a Class 3 license. Now, we as dealers have a 01 FFL and we have an SOT, so we can actually sell these items, but we don't even have what's called a Class 3 license. It's not true. You're applying for a tax-paid transfer, and that tax is $200 paid to the federal government. Now, if you use a credit card, we're going to charge you $212.
Yeah.
But that is what you're looking at. Also, ownership. So did you want to own this as an individual or did you want to put it on a trust?
Well, explain to me what my options are there. Why would I want to have other people possibly be in possession of it?
Well, so we don't become felons.
That's true.
So individual is exactly what it sounds. If I register to him as an individual, it's all going to be done in his name, his address, everything concisely all down to that. Does it mean that someone else could not shoot his weapon? No. If you're on the range, someone else wants to shoot your weapon, they can. But if your intent is to have multiple people be in possession or use of the asset, being the suppressor, if you will, at this time, you will need to put this item in a trust. Now, silencer shop, which we use a lot of, they have what's called a single shot trust. That is a trust on the asset or just the suppressor that you're buying, okay? And you're allowed to then add co-trustees. Co-trustees will be anybody who's going to be in possession of the asset while you're alive, okay? Mm-hmm. And they can use it without you being there. Now, kind of the morbid thing to say is nobody makes it out alive.
Right.
So if something happens to you, this asset will transfer to them, all right, without having to go back to the federal government, having to pay that $200 in tax and having them register out everything. Right. The key to a trust is having co-trustees. So the legal aspect of it is individual. You're the only person who gets to use the asset and be in possession of the asset. Someone else can shoot it, you didn't relinquish possession of it. But if someone else is shooting your firearm with a suppressor on it, you're at home, you are both federally chargeable. If it's on a trust and that person is on the trust, you're well within the law, you're doing exactly what you should be doing. Also, at Razorback Armory, we make trusts available and we give you all this information so that you can make an informed decision. But we do recommend trust. It just makes it cleaner and easier for your possession. And when we're thinking about our possession today, you may have kids, you may have, other people in your family that, would be useful for them. Also, they will transfer over to them if something happens to you. The only little asterisk to that is, to be on a trust, you have to be 18 years of age. If you are not, you can always put a placeholder trustee there, somebody that could put someone on there if you weren't there to put them on at 18. But that would be the ins and outs, if you will, of trust ownership or individual ownership.
I got a question.
What?
If my machine gun costs $50,000,
Yes.
and my suppressor costs $1,000,
Yes. So 51 grand.
is the tax stamp still the same?
Yes, it's not tax as we think of it, as like a percentage when we're paying sales tax. The NFA tax is $200, and it was set back there in June. Back in June, that was a lot of money. It's still a lot of money, but that was an ungodly amount of money. Now we're just like, take my $200 and get me my asset as fast as you can. We do with all this digital processing and what we're talking about. So we get all this paperwork together with Silencer Shop, and they send that in. Okay. Right now, we digital everything. We put barcodes on it. We put QR codes on there. We send it in, and it's all done old school snail mail, if you will. As of the recording of this podcast, they are switching over or transitioning to a digital e-file process. Our hope is that it makes it faster. Our hope is that it cleans up a lot of the lag time. If it does, we already sell a ton of suppression, but I think we're gonna sell a lot more. Yeah. But make sure you talk to your dealer. Make sure your dealer is e-filing if you want to be e-filed. I think that will be definitely a thing of the future. There's probably going to be some growing pains. There's probably going to be some hiccups, little steps in the road, but working our way through them, getting that done, I think will be really good for the industry, and obviously really good for you as a consumer, because you'll get your product faster. But that's been Jesse.
I'm Brad.
We're Razorback Armory. This has been our frequently asked questions on what is NFA and then how to buy a suppressor. If you're interested in these items or anything, feel free to stop by or give us a call. We'd love to talk to you, and thanks for watching.